Welcome back to the Toffee Blue, your source for all things Everton. I'm Josh and this is the 24/7 News Report. Our headline today comes from Sasha Tabaleri, who says intensive talks are currently ongoing between Everton and Arsenal for AMADOU ONANA, and that the Belgian is keen on the move. As well as this report, news from Newsblad Sports claims that Arsenal are pushing for AMADOU ONANA and are considering making an offer to Everton, and that Everton are aiming for at least £51 million, which is around €16 million, to sell AMADOU ONANA. Further reports from Football London say that Arsenal are exploring a deal for ONANA for around £50 million. We polled this to see how much you guys would accept for AMADOU ONANA, and with 2,400 of you getting involved, 8% would accept £50 to £60 million, 27% would sell the Belgian for £60 to £70 million, 39% of you would sell ONANA for £70 to £80 million, and finally 25% of you would sell the midfielder for £80 to £90 million. A lot to be said about this. Obviously, a player that we would like to keep, but if we can get a nice amount of money for him, I believe we bought him for around 33 million, if I'm not mistaken. So it's one of them. If it comes to the point where we are most likely going to sell and the player wants to move, or selling is looking inevitable, we want to get as much money for the player and invest back into the squad, and hopefully bring in another player like ONANA who will develop and it's one of them. I know a lot of people want to keep him, but if we can get a lot of money for him and a sale is inevitable, then getting the most amount obviously is beneficial for us. Definitely looking to get a return on the investment we made, but it would be nice to keep it maybe a little bit longer and see that development really come good for us as a club, really, and then we'll see what happens. It's up for debate what ONANA wants. So obviously he seems he seems to have adopted the club mentality and clips of him walking down the tunnel with a good attitude during games and such. So it's tricky to know what ONANA will want. Obviously Arsenal, a team that right now a player might enjoy the idea of moving to, but we will see. We'll have to keep our eyes on what actually happens there. Everton probably will want to keep hold of him as long as possible, but these are the figures currently rolling around. Reports coming out of transfer.com have said that Manchester United have initiated talks with Everton midfielder AMADOU ONANA. Erik ten Hag wanted ONANA in the summer. Everton have a long-standing interest in Scott McTominay. The Scottish midfielder is a major target for Sean Dyche, so a deal might be seen to be on the cards there. Obviously, with Manchester United wanting ONANA, could McTominay be involved in that deal? Another club wanted ONANA, and it seems that we want Scott McTominay. Obviously, a player that has been at United for a while, has a lot of Premier League experience, might be good, and we have seen him chip in a goal or two for United, so he might be good for that kind of thing. Obviously, if we were to sell ONANA, we need a player to come in and fill his position, because ONANA does start quite a few games. The games that he's been missing, more or less due to injury rather than being left out for form reasons. So would Scott McTominay be a good fit for Everton? We will have to see. I think I personally wouldn't mind that transfer. Actually, I think if we got a good deal, whether he's involved in the deal for ONANA or whether he's not, it might be a good player to go for. We polled to see how you guys felt about McTominay coming to Everton, with 2,000 of you getting involved, and 73% of you were for the transfer, 10% were unsure, and 16% were against Scott McTominay coming to Everton. I think it's clear through that poll in particular. I think a lot of people would be happy to see Scott McTominay. I think he has something to offer, And obviously, if we were to see ONANA go, we do need a player. And with McTominay's experience in the Premier League, and I'm not sure his age, but I'm fairly certain he's not getting too old just yet. So might be a good player for us to go for. Mail Sport have today put out a report saying that Real Madrid have an interest in Jared Branthwaite, and he is on the radar for this coming summer's transfer window. Now that isn't surprising given the fact that he has had quite a good start for the season here at Everton, and he's looking like a real player. Even when he went out on his loan move, he was looking a good, solid player, and I think he's going to be a player that a lot of clubs have their eye on. Obviously, we have had reports from a couple of weeks back that that people were looking to pick Jared Branthwaite up, but another player that we would really like to see stay at the club, obviously a defender that starts every game that we need him to, other than when he's been suspended. He's really formed a partnership with James Tarkowski, so he's obviously making himself known in the world of football, but hopefully we can keep him for a little while longer. Another one who's in the developmental stage and really getting himself familiar with the Premier League and getting that consistent start and really proving himself, similar to ONANA. So it's one of them where we would like to keep them as long as we can, so we can benefit from that development and reaching a good level. But then also, he might be one of them players that we get to the point where a sale might look inevitable, and we want to really make the most out of that. But right now he's an Everton player, and Real Madrid are only interested, so we'll see if anything actually comes of that. And that is looking to be for a summer transfer window rather than January, so we won't have to worry about that just yet. Further reports from Mail Sport claim that Italian side Atalanta have an interest in defender Ben Godfrey, but have been put off a deal due to the overall costs. A tricky one. Ben Godfrey has been on the radar of a few clubs as of recent, so but it seems that Atalanta might not be going for this one due to the cost of the player. Yeah, I would like to see him kept, but I think that's more of an idea of what we thought he might have been when we first bought him, and a little hope that he might still yet be that player for us. But at some point it's going to have to be for Ben Godfrey. Will he leave the club for more game time, or will he be set in just being a backup for players like Tarkowski or Branthwaite? And at the minute, that's where he is, simply just a backup, and I'm not sure Ben Godfrey will be happy staying like that. Or if he is, we might just see him stay at Everton until he moves out, and I don't think it's going to be one of them situations where he pushes into the first team anytime soon. So he really has the two options of leaving the club or just staying as the backup. Fabrizio Romano via United Stand has said that a decision will likely be made this week for Hannibal Mabry after recent reports of Everton's attempt to hijack a loan move for the player. I'd like to see this happen, to be honest. It'd be great to see if we can utilise a loan slot, and Hannibal Mabry I think might be a great player for that. I don't know too much about him, I've not seen him play, but I do know that he might be a good option and would really be useful as a squad player. Finally, Liverpool Echo has said that the finish line for 777's takeover for Everton appears to be in sight. It is anticipated that a decision could well be communicated by the end of the month, something that could bring an end to Mashiri's 8-year stint as owner for Everton. I mean, as far as the situation, this is as murky as it can get, to be honest, because there's a mix of feelings when it comes to this. A lot of people want to see Mashiri go, but a similar amount of people don't really want to see 7-7 come in after what has gone on in clubs that they currently own. it's a tricky one. I mean, we might be jumping out of the frying pan and into the fryer with this one, but it remains to be seen. You can only but hope that we see a positive change from it, because I mean, Mashiri's stint as owner for Everton has not been perfect by any means, and a lot of people will be happy to see him leave and someone else come in. But is the 777's takeover gonna be a positive change? I'm not sure. That will have to be that will remain to be seen. We'll see how that actually pans out, because it looks to be edging closer and closer. So we might be seeing a new ownership, and we will have to see whether that is for the best or for the worst. But that is it for news today. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the ONANA sale. How much would you want to be receiving for AMADOU ONANA? And do you think Scottish midfielder McTominay would be a great addition to the squad, and Maybury as well? Do you think he would be a good addition too? Let me know in the comments. This has been the Toffee Blues with the news. I'm Josh. Thanks for watching. See you later.